All right, so some of you may have joined us in April when we did our first eLearning NDU. We've updated these slides and information. So we're going to call this 2.0. So first, meet the team. These are your school counselors. My name is Mrs. Broadcom. I'm the school counselor for last names A through E. And if the other counselors want to introduce themselves.
This is Mr. Ag, and I've got last names R through Z, which if you're not a freshman, it's just a little bit different from last year as I had O through Z, but as you'll meet Miss Fiescanari, she took over a caseload, so we had to adjust a little bit of our alphabet this year.
Yep, and then Ms. Schwab and Ms. Fiescanari.
Yeah, I'm Mrs. Fiascanari. I have this year anyone whose last name begins with M through Q.
And Ms. Schwab, you are muted in case you're trying to talk. Well, her dog was barking earlier, so I'll introduce Ms. Schwab. Mrs. Schwab has the caseload F through L. And as school counselors, we're here to help support three main areas for you guys. One is your academic success. Two is your college and career readiness, so making sure you're ready for whatever your next step is and to help you plan for whatever those next steps are. And then your social and emotional wellness, including mental health and maintaining healthy boundaries, things like that. So we're so happy you guys are here because we created this lesson in response to the request from the counselor survey that we sent out in the last couple of weeks. So we're happy that you guys participated in that and then are here to enjoy it, live or recorded. Okay, so the overview for today, I need to move my presenter controls out of the way. But I can name 3 strategies that can improve my online learning, log into all the platforms I need to complete my schoolwork, describe 4 dimensions of wellness, and 2 strategies to use for good school and life balance. So we're going to be getting to know the tech, getting organized, building a routine, a little bit of wellness and e-learning. If you were here with us in April, we're not going to dive quite as deep into the types of wellness and the tips as much as we did in April, because we didn't want this to just be a carbon copy or an exact copy of what we did back then. We wanted you guys to get some new stuff. So if you want to learn more about the types of learning, or I'm sorry, the types of wellness and e-learning, definitely go back and rewatch that. See, so if you are wanting to use the chat, if you could send the chat messages to Ms. Fiascanari. I know you have some options on there, but she's gonna be monitoring the chat since I've got the PowerPoint shared, so it's hard for me to look at both. So if you guys can send those over to her, that would be great. You're welcome to ask questions as we go along or share out ideas that have worked for you. This is definitely, we'd like this to be more interactive. So let's talk about getting to know the tech. So in virtual learning, we like to make comparisons to things that we're doing online versus things that we do in the school building. So on the left, we have some of the common programs that we use in e-learning, and then the equivalent school version. So Clever, that's like your main dashboard, and we'll show you some screenshots of that here in a second. That's like walking into the school building. That's how you access everything else that you need for school, including Google Classroom, Google Drive, Infinite Campus, your district email, Google Calendar, everything, or just about everything. So that's how you access everything that you need for school. Google Classroom, that's where all of your classes are. It's like walking into a classroom. So whatever teachers put on the whiteboard in a physical classroom, or whatever material they have up on the walls, or their systems for turning in assignments, all of that is contained within Google Classroom. Zoom is like sitting at your classroom desk. So that's where you experience class. That's where you have some feedback from other students. That's where you are interacting with your teachers. Whether it's an actual lesson that they're providing, or if it's a like an open office hours type experience. Google Drive, that's like your virtual backpack or your virtual binder. So that's where you keep all of your documents, any notes you can, if you want to keep them digitally, anything like that. And you get to decide how all of that is set up in Google Drive. Infinite Campus, that's where all of your grades are. That's where teachers are posting your grades. And then that's also where your school schedule is. District email, that one is so important that a lot of people forget about. That's how you have individual conversations with your teachers, with your counselor, with any other school staff, even with school groups, things like that. So make sure you're checking that school email pretty frequently and using that for school communication. Google Calendar and Google Keep, those are digital versions of a student planner. So you can see everything you've got going on for the week. You can add post-its using Google Keep, and we'll show you a little bit of that today, but we also have more resources on those options in our Google Classrooms under the Quick Tip Tuesdays. Open office hours, that's like, just popping by an office or a classroom if you need some extra help and somebody has a Zoom room open. As counselors, we do that on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays and Fridays, and we kind of rotate between the different lunch periods. So Mondays and Thursdays, we have it during 4th period, and Tuesdays and Fridays, we have it during 6th. And that's just like if you were in the school building and wanted to stop by and ask a quick question or just say hi. So how do we access these different platforms? Well, most of them are actually accessible through Clever, which we've got the website there. This is also going to be in our Google Classroom for you to access, but the only one that doesn't seem to work when Zoe Hastings actually volunteered to work on this with me, but we were looking at it. It looks like Zoom might be a little bit difficult to get to from Clever. So you actually have to use this website, the ccsoh-us.zoom.us. It's the same login that you use for your other district stuff. And other counselors, feel free to hop in whenever. Let's see. So when we're talking about e-learning, building a daily routine, consistency is key. I don't know about you guys, but it's difficult working from home. We're working from home too. If you can develop a set of habits, that will help you significantly with everything else. And we'll go into that in just a little bit. But in terms of finding a location, whether that's in creating a location that works for school for you, you want to find a specific, like well-lit spot where you can do your schoolwork each time. And so whenever you're doing schoolwork, that's where you should be. And when you're not doing schoolwork, you shouldn't be in that spot. It should be a very specific, defined space where you do that. And then you can create a space too by like using headphones to have white noise in the background or music in the background, whatever it is. Just make sure it's consistent. Make sure you have everything you need, like an outlet. Like you don't want to have to like get up in the middle of a class to go find your charger or go find an open outlet. Make sure you have good internet there, space to write on a desk or whatever you have around, just as long as you have space to take notes if you're using paper notes. Minimal distractions, and then make sure you have a conversation with your family members about how you're using that space. Like, hey, when I'm sitting here, I'm doing my schoolwork. Please, help me remember to do. If it looks like I'm not doing schoolwork, remind me to move somewhere else, or really protect and set up that space very, very intentionally. So, Rich, I put this on here because your brain will love making habits. And so you have to kind of create these like habit triggers to help you build a stronger routine. So that means like doing the same thing each day, same order. And then when you have transition, pair it with a trigger for it to be more effective. So examples of triggers are like where you are. So like I said, having that protected space, like once you get used to doing your schoolwork in a specific space, as soon as you sit down there, it's like your brain will flip a switch and be like, okay, now we're doing schoolwork. And it'll actually help you focus even better when you're sitting there. So using the same type of music over and over, whether it's like a specific artist or genre or whatever it is, use that as a trigger of like, I only listen to this music or have this like sound, white noise in the background when there is, when I'm doing schoolwork. You can use calendar alerts to trigger you to go to a different class. So like when you see the calendar alert, oh, I have to go, do that, or like have a tone that goes off when it's time. And just have that very specific to whatever it is that you need your brain to help you do, whether that's focus or shift gears. Using the same type of headphones each time, just the feeling of the headphone, of like earbuds in your ear or like having something over your ear. If you do that every time, it can actually help improve your focus too. And then also finding some shortcuts, like adding your classes and Zoom links to Google Calendar, using Clever, using Google Chrome and give it permission to alert you. And then check out the Quick Tip Tuesdays for even more ideas like this. I have to hide my meeting controls again because I can't see the bottom. Just so that way you can learn more and more ways to save you time. Because if you are spending a lot of time fumbling around trying to find different links at different times and trying to keep up, like that can go sideways really quick. So, trying to figure out all these different ways that you can make your life easier is going to be worth investing your time in figuring out. And just making sure you're doing the same thing each time once you figure that out. All right, so some more tips and things to think about when you're establishing a routine. So how do you take notes? Do you like paper notes? Do you like having notes in Google Drive? Where do you keep them? So like if I told you, okay, you need to find notes for science on this topic, you should be able to find those within a couple of seconds, whether it's on your computer or whether it's near your desk. If you have a specific notebook or if you have a specific Google Drive folder, it should be really, really easy for you to find. And then what's the first thing you do when you open your computer? Is it opening Chrome? Opening a certain set of tabs, getting logged in? How do you plan for upcoming assignments? So even though the assignment due dates are already built into your Google Calendar, how do you plan for those coming up so that way you're not just reacting on the day that they're due? Some ideas for that would be like Google Keep or actually blocking off time in your calendar to work on things. How do you move from one Zoom to the next? Some students are putting appointments in their Google Calendar and putting the links in there so that way they just have their calendar open all day and just click the next thing when it's time. Some students will have like a digital sticky note or Google Doc somewhere, or I know Mr. Ford put out a spreadsheet that you can use to help you keep track of where all of your Zoom codes are. And then one thing to think about that a lot of students aren't thinking about is what's your Wednesday routine compared to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Just because we don't have a bell schedule doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing work. So, is there an event that you usually go to? Hey, Wednesdays at noon are a good one to join us. Or, are you going to college visits or checking out past college visits that you missed, working on, different assignments or asking for help? Set up a Wednesday routine to help you stay effective for the rest of the week. Definitely want to organize that Google Drive. Like I said, find things that are, you want to make it ridiculously easy, like I said here, to find what you need and stick to that organization system. Reduce the number of steps for each task and transition. So like I said before, whatever it takes to make something super easy for you to transition tasks is going to make your brain happy and make habits that much easier to maintain. So whether that's creating a bookmark bar in Chrome, which I can do a quick tip Tuesday about that if you guys like that. You can put links in your Google Calendar, turn on alerts for Zoom and Google Chrome. Organizing your email, that's a big one that I think a lot of people don't teach you guys about. You can actually create folders in your inbox. You can create one for each class or for specific types of emails, like general announcements, things like that. And you can drag emails into those folders to get them out of your inbox if you're done with them. Just because it can get really overwhelming really quickly to have too many emails in your inbox. I wish I could give you more like specific instructions for how to organize your email, but you need to find something that works for you. There's a lot of different options. So just kind of play around with it and see what works for you, but I highly encourage you to find a way to organize your email system. And then maintaining wellness needs to be part of your routine. So when you're determined school day is done, like you're done. Like shut it off, walk away. Like don't do this like working at 1 in the morning till 3 in the morning. When I was an online school counselor, I swear I got emails at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning and saw that like students were logged in and turning in work like all hours of the night. And the kids that were the most successful were the kids that were doing it during a normal school day, even though we didn't require kids to do it during the school day. I know right now we do have more of that structured expectation that you're doing schoolwork during the school day, but I know it can be tempting to do things at other random times. So I really encourage you to, pick, these are the times that I'm doing school, and try to stick to that as closely as possible. I mean, sometimes there are things outside of your control, but I mean, try to stick to the routine as much as you can. So I put together just kind of a suggested routine for you. You can you can use this as is, or you can basically do whatever works for you. But here's an example. So by 7:45 a.m., we're saying open up Chrome, Google Chrome. We like Chrome because it's really easy to make bookmarks. It works seamlessly with all of the district, or at least most of the district platforms that we know of. And then your first stop needs to be Clever. Log in to Clever, and then you can even create a bookmark folder in Google Chrome on your bookmark bar. And you just like right click it and say open all if you want, or just have all these individually at the top. So for the tabs, we would recommend doing Clever, district email, Google Classroom main page, so that way you can see all of your classes there at once. Your Google Calendar, and then you can open up Google Keep on the side of it. So that way you have your calendar with Post-its on the side. Put Zoom on there, especially Zoom since you can't access that from Clever. And then Google Drive and Infinite Campus. And then next, check your district email. Organize any new emails, reply to any emails they need to reply to. That way you get any updates that are important for that day. Outline your day, so go to your calendar, look at what's going on today, and then add in tasks to the Google Keep Post-its or the Google Task app on the side. It's usually on the right side. And then you can work on those tasks during your flex time, whether that's on Wednesdays or during lunch or a study hall, or if teachers have kind of a little bit more of a lax Zoom schedule, make sure that you're getting those tasks done. You can even add non-school things to your calendar. Then make sure you attend all of your classes and live events, and log in a couple minutes early to make sure that you are getting into the classroom okay. Check in for attendance at some point during the school day. Make sure you use the same routine each day so you don't forget. And then after your last class, we recommend checking your email again, working on any extra assignments, and then send emails with questions or concerns, or to set up times on Wednesday for extra help.
And actually, if I can add in about email, it is kind of like what we have right now. And I have some people that will apologize if they email me again, for example, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please keep emailing me. Like literally, you are, we're all at home, and I want to make sure that you guys have what you need. And I can tell you that teachers feel the same. So if you have something you're not sure about, email them, right? It's kind of like that direct connection, especially if in a normal setting in class, maybe you're not sure about asking questions. That feels kind of weird. Like this is a great way. Always reach out by email. Any question, small, big. If you're afraid it's a dumb question, it's not. I guarantee probably other people have the same question. Definitely use that email.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add to that is if you send, a staff member, especially an email, give them like a full school day maybe even 2 to reply. Sometimes I get rapid emails from students, and it makes it really difficult to track what you're asking about. So just make sure that you send one email, give it a couple days, and then follow up with another email, just to make sure that it didn't get lost in the shuffle or something. But you don't need to send an email over and over and over. We got it the first time usually. But yes, definitely, please reach out via email. We love hearing from you guys. So at this point, like, if anyone has is there anything that you guys want to share? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Ms. Fiascanari, if you can keep an eye on the chat. If you send it to me, I'm not going to be able to see it. Or you can send it to Ms. Schwab or Mr. Agee. And then you guys, if you guys get anything to share, or if you guys have questions so far.
Yes, I have a question.
Oh, if you wouldn't mind using the chat for me, just since we're going to be posting this recording, I really, really love that you were unmuting that's definitely something that we would normally do. Just for this one, let's keep it to the chat, so that way it's a little bit more organized for the webinar. And then if you guys have other questions, like if it seems like those would be better answered at the end when we stop the recording, we can definitely do that too. Just if there's anything related to this to share, counselors, just let us know if it's coming up.
Yes, and I've already gotten feedback that email was not quite clear. So I think some people on here are seeing that how they view the email and everything. So I think this is really important, because if you haven't checked your email, you might have some good Easter eggs in there, something that you didn't realize you were missing. So it's pretty awesome. And when you type in who you're sending it to, it will automatically look up names. Like, I know I have a very long last name. If you start typing in what you think my last name is, I should show up on there. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of teachers I know are sending out emails to students too that way. Oh, I forgot to mention this just when we were talking about the virtual bell schedule. Make sure you're planning your flex time out accordingly.
Yes, and I have another question that came up. If we have questions, who should we be emailing, teacher or counselors? And you guys can tag in. Really, it depends on the question. I'm going to tell you very honestly, if you have a math question, probably you don't want to email Mrs. Fiascanari.
Or Mrs. Broadham.
Yeah, Mrs. Schwab would probably be all over it, but really, like, we're going to be more like questions if you just need to chat about life, or if you're not sure about your schedule, or if you need help getting organized, or if you want to like go through what we're going through now, again, that kind of stuff. We are like, as counselors, kind of just like your number one fans and like just your cheerleaders. Like, anything we can do to help support you on the sidelines, like that's what we're going to do. Whereas if you're not sure about something specifically during class, like something the teacher maybe was talking about, you'll want to email your specific questions to the teacher about like what they're doing in class.
Also,
go ahead.
Put in there too, if you have questions about that class in particular, such as how do I log on to that teacher's Zoom, how do I get onto that Google Classroom, again, email your teachers. We do not have teachers codes or anything for any Zoom meetings, anything like that. We do not have. So if it's anything related to that class in particular, email your teacher.
Okay, so let's move forward. So just want to show you some screenshots of Clever, because a lot of students don't realize that Clever exists, and it can save you a lot of time and energy and tears. So if you go to Clever, which we've got the website, we have it linked all over the place. But if you go to Clever, this is what shows up. You click login with Active Directory, and then this page comes up. So you use your student ID number at columbus.k12.oh.us, and then your birth date using the dashes, just how I have it listed in the example here.
We have another question, kind of back to the scheduling. So the question is, if you're working maybe during school hours, or maybe you are helping take care of even other kids in your home during school hours and you can't get on during that schedule, what do you do?
I think I can try to help answer this. I would contact your teacher. A lot of times they are recording lessons and posting lessons on their Google Classroom. But that would be a question for them on where are those lessons. So I would definitely contact the teacher and ask them, are you recording your lesson? And if so, where is that recording at? Now, the only negative to that is you're not going to have that interaction with the teacher where you can post questions in chat or you can unmute and participate in that class. But I believe a lot of them, if I'm wrong, please let me know, other counselors, but I believe a lot of them are posting their lessons on their Google Classroom so you can go back and view those lessons.
Yes, hit up that email, talk to your teachers, let them know kind of what's kind of going on so they can get an idea and make sure that you are, completing that work and talking to them. Communication is always key, but when we're all in our own homes, it is like definitely key. So definitely communicate.
All right, so now back to going in with Clever. So as Ms. Brodigan was talking about, so this is where you begin to log in for Clever. So you log in with the Active Directory, and then if you go to the next slide, again, that was where email address, you log in with that and your birthday. You can go to the next one, Ms. B. Okay, so once you're on Clever, there are a bunch of different websites and access points to where you can find everything you'll need. So I don't know where that first one just went. Oh, it disappeared.
It was Admintum. It disappeared from life.
Right, yes. So
we're not using that anymore this year.
Correct. Yeah, so that's gone. Now, so you got Infinite Campus where you can go in and check your grade books, and that's also where you will go in to mark your attendance on a daily basis. Then you also have Naviance, which is what you will use for all of your college and career readiness information. So when we go in and do the different Naviance lessons for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, that's when you take a lot of the different assessments and also do some of the different activities. And then later on in your junior and senior years is where you do a lot of your college stuff. So where you will go to request transcripts and also letters of recommendation and everything with that, which is definitely something that we will go in a lot more depth as we get into the year, especially if you're a senior.
Yeah, check that in the Google Classroom, just check out the college crash course for seniors.
Yes, that has a plethora of information, and Ms. B has done a great job with all of that. So then also you have Google Classroom where you can access not only our counselor rooms, but also all of your classes as well. Google Drive is available where you can keep a lot of different documents and store and create different files. So again, this is a really big, important part about being organized, because we cannot stress enough that the more organized you can be with just, sorting all of your different files into specific places, it's going to make your life so much easier. Like how Ms. B was saying with email, I started doing it myself of just creating different folders for things. It saves you so much time when you're trying to go back and find a specific email. Like you have to do it. And again, like personally for me, what works, like I always pin my emails up to the top if I know it's something that I need to address and I maybe need to go get more information on. So anything that I have not yet addressed, I always just pin to the top, and then once I'm done, I unpin it. That works for me. But again, you will find different things that work best for you and how your brain works. And then lastly, for your math assignments, there's also the ALEKS that you can access too. Okay, now for Zoom. So very important thing that we want to stress, and that also that teachers have stressed as well, is that it is very important to use your full name when you're joining your Zoom meetings. because your teachers want to know exactly who's in the meeting, and it just makes it so much easier for them to be able to tell that you're logged in, you are who you say you are, and that you're connected into the meeting if you're using your full name. Because, you know, for example, if you just have it as Star Wars fan or whatever it may be, you know, nobody knows who that is. And it's also important to log in using your district Zoom account as well. And you'll use that with single sign-on. Kind of like the screen that where you had the email sign-in, it looks similar to that as well. Okay, so just a couple tips and just Zoom etiquette things to address. So again, it's really important to use your first and last name. And you need to act as if you're in the classroom, because I believe almost probably 99% of all of your Zoom meetings are probably going to be recorded. So it's very important to just be polite, respectful, and again, just act as if you were in the classroom. And also to just stay engaged. And when you enter the webinar, make sure that your microphone is muted, because, you know, even as adults, when we're in our Zoom meetings, it happens where people's microphones aren't muted, and then it just creates a lot of feedback, and it's hard. It just creates distractions, and it's hard for everyone to hear sometimes. So that's just another important thing to remember when you enter. And then also, it's good to make sure that your camera is off unless your teacher says that you should have it on, which again, that's just up to your teacher's discretion on what they prefer with your cameras, especially in the beginning, because some might want to just, you know, have you turn it on real quick just to have a quick check-in and make sure that, one, you are who you match with your name, and that, you know, just that they can see that you're present and engaged. And if you do, for some reason, have trouble with the audio when you connect with your computer, if you weren't aware, you can also call into the audio through your phone. Sometimes, you know, if your internet connection is a little off, sometimes it might be easier to just connect through your phone. But again, when you connect through your phone, you're almost never on mute right away, and you have to go in and probably manually mute your phone. So that's just an important thing to remember.
Sorry to interrupt. Is the screen share still look okay? It did something funky on my end, so I'm trying to fix it.
It did for a second, but I think we're back. It's full screen for me, so
Okay, cool.
yeah, it should be good for everyone else as well.
Next slide. Or
yeah, we can go ahead. All right, so now we're going to get into the dimensions of wellness, and I believe Ms. Schwab is going to take over.
Yes, this is when I'm going to take over. It's not only important that you guys are going to your classes, getting your work done, but it's also important that you're going to take care of yourself. During this time, you have to be mindful of your body, yourself, and everything else that's going on. So what we're going to look at is there's going to be 4 dimensions of wellness, or types of wellness. You've got your physical wellness. This is the ability to maintain a healthy quality of life that allows you to get the most out of your daily activity. You know, get a good night's sleep, eat healthy, things like that. Intellectual wellness refers to active participation in scholastics, culture, and community activities. Is important to gain and maintain an intellectual wellness, because it expands your knowledge. This means things just to stimulate your mind, like might do a Sudoku puzzle, might, you know, play chess, something to keep your mind thinking. Your emotional wellness inspires self-care, relaxation, stress reduction, develop an inner strength. It's important to be attentive to both positive and negative feelings and be able to understand how to handle these emotions. I know, like, for myself, a lot of times I get so caught up in the e-learning and being on the computer all the time. Sometimes, like during lunch, I might go out and take like a 15-minute walk. Just to keep that, to me, that helps reduce stress. Like, that's one thing for me that might help reduce stress. Some people might like to meditate or do yoga or something to that nature, but somehow you've got to be aware of your emotions, whether it's positive or negative. If something is really stressing you out, you need to be aware enough to understand what that is and what can we do to work on that so the stress won't happen. And also your social wellness. That refers to the relationship you have when you interact with others. It can offer support at different times. Social wellness involves building healthy, nurturing, and supportive relationships. And a lot of times when you're at home, this is a lot harder to do. You guys are used to being at school, seeing friends at class, at lunch. But when you're at home, it is harder to do. Whether that is getting a friend on a phone call or, I know this isn't the best example, but I know at night when the social distancing is going on, my son might get on his Xbox and play a game with a friend just so he can talk back and forth. But it's important to keep your relationships there. You need other people in your life. Okay, next slide, please. And right here, what this is right here, these are 3 tips for your wellness. So for example, your physical wellness, we talked about this. Get outside every day, enjoy the sunshine. Make sure you're eating, you're drinking. Make sure you're aware of how much time you're in front of the computer as away from the computer. Sometimes you might not be able just to get up and move, but you don't have to be sitting all the time. You can stand at your desk. You can, like I said, during lunch, go take a walk, do a quick walk around the house, things like that. Your intellectual wellness, board games, music. I like to do Sudoku puzzles, anything to that nature. You could do the college and career exploration that we have in our Google Classrooms. Emotional wellness, start a gratitude journal. Put things that you're thankful for.
I can talk about that gratitude journal. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah, so the gratitude journal, so here's the rules. So at the end of the day, like same time every day, part of that same like routine that we talked about, you literally write down 3 things that went well or things that you're thankful for, basically like 3 positive things about the day. But the rule is you cannot repeat things ever. So, which means sometimes you have to get kind of creative. So like it can be, even if it's just like little things, there's always 3 things to be thankful for. Like everything from like, oh, I'm really thankful that I got to, hang out with the counselors today. Or I'm really thankful for shoelaces, so that way my shoes don't fall off my feet. Or I'm thankful for a windshield, so that way the rain doesn't hit me in the face. Like it can be something like really simple, or it can be, bigger things. Like I'm really thankful that, my test went well today, or things like that. Continue. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Also, if you are having a bad day or you're having trouble, you can set up a meeting with any of us. We're here to listen. We're here if you want to talk things through. So feel free. You can email your counselor and be like, hey, can I set up a meeting? We do have a Google form that you can fill out to set up a meeting. It is very easy to get a hold of us. Just get a hold of us, and we're more than happy to set up a meeting and talk to you. Check your emotional status every day. Get a gauge on, hey, how's my emotional being today? Is it good? Is it bad? If it's great, what did I do today to make this such a wonderful day? If it's negative, hey, what happened today that put me in this type of mood? So you can be aware of those things. And for your social wellness, practice healthy boundaries, especially on social media. We all know that social media, can be nasty at times, but, be aware of that. If there's someone on social media that is going to talk about you and be negative, don't friend them. Don't get on. Don't read what they're typing. Also, join a club. In our newsletter, Ms. Brodigan and Ms. Green is working very hard to find some kind of clubs out here for everyone to use. They sent out a link that you could put what kind of clubs you're interested in. Fill that out. Get involved in some clubs. Right now, these are going to be more virtual type clubs, but that's a way to meet different people. It's a way to get involved with things that are going on and stay and connect with people. And reach out to 3 people every day to check in. Whether that's, hey, I'm going to go visit a friend down the road, or, hey, I'm going to do a quick call with someone or FaceTime someone. Just stay in touch with people. The last thing you want to do is be alone in your house during this whole time. I think we're going on 7 or 8 months, and not have that contact with other people. Okay.
And then if you want to like learn more about these different types of wellness, or like we have whole slides on each of these like wellness tips and different ideas to maintain that wellness. So you can watch the e-learning webinar that we had from April that really dove deeper into this. Okay.
I can still talk. You need to maintain wellness and boundaries. Set limits on social media and phone usage. That's even hard for me to do. I mean, I'm on the computer all day, and then a lot of times at night I'm sitting there playing games on my phone, and I'm not doing things like that where, you know, interact. I'm starting to interact more with my family, interact with some friends, you know, go outside and do something outside, but watch how much you're on social media and your phone usage to maintain those boundaries. Protect your time and energy and force your boundaries. So it says, you know, say no when you need to. I mean, I know a lot of times people, it's hard to say no, but I mean, if you just got done with a bunch of work, you're working all day, and it's time for you to sit down and eat with your family, and then a friend calls and needs something, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, you know, listen, I've just sat down with my family, I've just started doing this or whatever you need to do, and, you know, I can't do that right now. You know, you need to maintain these boundaries for yourself. And remind your family members of school routines. Remind them that this time set aside, hey, you can say, this is the time I'm setting aside to do my schoolwork. Could you please not bother me during this time unless you need to? But remind them that this is when I'm doing my work. If a friend needs help, you should help them, even if you don't want to. A lot of times helping others
you should if a friend needs like crisis help,
yes,
and then you should definitely get help even if they don't want it.
Oh, even if they don't want to, I got you.
You shouldn't feel helpless, because that's part of maintaining healthy boundaries is when you feel in over your head trying to help a friend. Like, you should never have to feel in over your head trying to help a friend. Reach out to an adult, reach out to one of us, reach out to a teacher, family member, whoever you feel like you can trust, but never feel like you have to deal with helping a friend on your own. So when you start feeling that like helplessness or feeling in over your head, part of having healthy boundaries is good for both of you. So just make sure you that's the time when you need to reach out for help.
When you're done with the school day, walk away, stick to your routine. Again, this is another one I know I have trouble with. Once I'm done with my school day, a lot of times I'm like, oh, should I hurry up and check my email again? Or should I hurry up and go do this? You need to find a way to walk away and use that time for yourself. I know what works for me is I shut down my whole computer. I shut everything down. Because if it's shut down, I'm less likely to jump on real quick and just do a couple more things. Whereas if I leave it on, I might walk by and be like, oh, you know, I can hurry up and check my email and answer a couple emails. But, you know, it's very important that you push that away and make time for yourself. This is definitely harder when you are working remotely from home and doing schoolwork from home, because when you're at school, it's easy to physically walk out of the school building and be like, okay, I'm out of school. Or when you're at home, you're doing all your schoolwork at home. It's still all right there. But you need to have that time set aside of this is school day, this is what I'm going to do after school at home. And then add something in from each wellness area to your daily routine. Whether that is, hey, you know, I need to protect my sleep. Some people are like, I need 8 hours of sleep a night. If I don't get 8 hours of sleep, it's hard for me to function. Protect yourself, use that time. Whether that is, I need to eat healthy. You know, I know some people, if they stop eating, my sister's one of them, she just gets mean and nasty and can't focus. So, you know, if you're one of those type of people, make sure you are eating, you know, at least 3 healthy meals a day, snacking if you need to snack, things like that. Get out and move. Make some kind of social time to be with others. Also, you know, make sure that you're balanced so you can get your tasks done and things like that. So I mean, don't spend all day on one thing and then at the end of the day be like, oh, I'm not ready there yet. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it is hard, but you have to remember, you have to protect your time away from school, even though you're still in your house, to maintain a good, healthy mindset. a good emotional mindset and everything in general, you need to do these things for yourself too.
Yeah, and I did get a question in the chat at one point asking about, if you have schoolwork that you need to do outside of the school day, how should you structure that? And I'd say, like, you make sure I would block out a certain amount of time after classes are over and try to get your work done within a certain time limit. And then when you're done, you walk away. Like when you're done, you're done. And then, or try to, stagger it so that way you're working on a lot of that schoolwork on Wednesdays when you don't have classes, or during study halls, things like that.
You
teach
guys
that way
also,
it's not random times, like have specific times that you're working on schoolwork.
you also have that flex time in the morning too, that 7:30 to 8:30 time in the morning that you might be like, okay, I didn't finish everything, so I'm going to do this before my classes start tomorrow morning. So you can use that flex time, or, use that Wednesday time, structure that time. And if it's something you have to do at night, then you might want to take a break at 2:45. Say, I'm going to get up, I'm going to take a break for myself, but after dinner I'm going to set aside like half an hour to do work. Same thing. Okay, where are we at? Next slide. Also, attend live events, with like these clubs that you could join. Attend them, attend the events with your teachers, the staff. Even if you don't have any questions, one, it helps break up your day. It helps you stay connected with others. And it may address a question that you might not even have known you had. Something might come up and you might be thinking, oh, that's a great idea. I don't even know why I didn't think of something like that. But, try to stay in communication with everyone. Even if it's just, hey, I'm going to log on to this seminar we're doing today. You might learn something. Hopefully everyone's learning something new that they might not have thought about doing until now. Be mindful of what you ingest. Again, that goes with a lot of that negativity. And a lot of, what are you doing out there? I know there's a lot of things going on nowadays, not even just in the world, but even in social media with your friends. And, a lot of things can be negative. A lot of things can make you feel down and bad. Be careful of what you're bringing in, because you don't want to bring yourself down. Try to stay positive. Try to ingest things that are very positive for you. Ask for help. If you need any help at all, whether that's academics, whether that's, with maintaining wellness, you need to ask for help. I do know a lot of times, as far as counselors here, we are here all the time for you. We are here to help support you. You can email us whenever you would like. We have office hours almost daily. You need to let us know. And if it's something we can't help you with, we can refer you to the right people. If you're having trouble in a class, you have to reach out to that teacher. The teachers are not going to know. They do not see you every day. They don't see that reaction on your face when you're in class and all of a sudden you have that, oh, I have no idea what's going on look on your face. And a lot of times teachers can pick that up. When we're online, they can't pick that up. That's what Wednesdays are a lot of times set aside for, is for you to get that extra help you need from teachers or whatever you need. If you're having trouble in a class, don't be afraid to email your teacher and say, I'm really struggling. Can we set up a time on Wednesday for you to meet with me and help me get caught up? That's what Wednesday's there for. Wednesday's not, hey, this is a free day for everyone. That day's there for you to help get caught up with whatever you need. If it is, and if it's an issue, we can also bring in administration depending on what the issue is. But you can't be afraid to ask. You guys are all sitting at home just like we're sitting at home. And if you don't ask, no one knows. So please, please, please reach out and ask. Lastly, be kind to yourself. Try to, like it says here, practice positive self-talk. Know that you can do it. Know that, hey, I can do this virtual learning. I can do these classes. Hey, I might be afraid to ask for help, but, I'm going to ask for help today and email my teacher and find out what to do. Stay positive. Know that, everyone here has faith in you. You've got to have it in yourself too.
And just add something to kind of go back onto the being mindful of what you ingest. I think a really important thing to remember at this time is be very mindful and be aware of the amount of time you're spending on your phone, because not only are you guys sitting in front of your computer screen for many hours a day, but then if after that you're also on your phone for, I don't know, 2-3 hours, like that is a lot of time on your screen. And again, like I'm sure you guys know, it can be so easy to just sit there and mindlessly scroll on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. And sometimes you don't even realize just how much you're doing it and what you're exposing yourself to. So if you aren't aware, especially if you have an iPhone, it's super easy to set time limits for yourself on specific apps. For example, so you could set, for social media, you could set a time limit on your phone to say, all right, I'm only allowed to be on social media apps for 45 minutes or an hour, whatever you choose. And then once you reach that, it automatically disables those apps for the rest of the day. So it does the work for you. And I think that is a really important thing that isn't touched on enough, because especially during this pandemic, I'm sure everyone's phone usage has gone up exponentially. And there's a really good website that I had found that I'm going to put the link to in the chat, but it's called screenlifebalance.com. And it just has a lot of good articles and a lot of resources that you can use to just kind of help maintain and regulate your phone use. And it has like a little 3-day kind of no phone detox challenge if you're interested, especially if it's, you're sitting here like, wow, I'm literally on my phone all the time and I kind of just don't know how to stop. This website has a lot of good information. So I just wanted to add that in.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely put that in the chat.
It's awesome. I mean, I've used a lot of things. It's been helpful for me because, I mean, there was one week I saw that my screen time use went up so much, and I'm like, this is disgusting. I got to do something.
That's happened to me too. I actually do have the settings on my phone to disable. It disables my work apps actually after a certain time of day.
Right.
Because it's so easy to just like, oh, I'll just check my work email real quick, and then all of a sudden I'm sucked back in and doing work,
Exactly.
at the wrong time. I think there's just one slide left, if I'm remembering correctly. So we've talked about like most of these things, but we want to make sure that you have access to this. So who do you go to if you need help with something? If your coursework is overwhelming or you don't know what to do with your coursework, teachers are your first place to go with questions. If you're having technical issues, there is a district IT help desk, and that's that 365 number right there. And then Zoom support has a separate like email address. So if it's just Zoom that you're having trouble with, you can email them and they'll help you out. Questions on like your assignments, Google Classrooms or Zoom codes, that's whoever's teacher, like whatever teacher it is for that class. Like if it's the counselor Google Classroom, obviously come to us. If you need emotional support or resources, or if you want a referral to a clinical counselor, your school counselors, us, and the social worker, Ms. Paulson, we're all available to help you out. Just send us an email. But if you're in crisis, like if you're worried for yourself or someone else, there's the crisis line to call. And then 911, obviously, if you're in danger, someone else is in immediate danger. And then there's also a texting crisis line right there for you as well. Attendance questions go to Ms. Horde, the attendance secretary. And then general questions can also go to your grade level administrators. So 9th and 10th graders go to Ms. Jaffe, 10th and 11th. They split 10th by alphabet. So the first half of the alphabet's with Ms. Jaffe and the second half is with Mr. McElroy. Or the other way around, actually, I'm sorry. Mr. McElroy has the first half, Ms. Jaffe has the second half with 10th. And then 12th grade is Mr. Mullins. And then the counseling classroom, we actually have a lot of different topics on there. So check out the classwork tab. We're continuing to add new things to it like each day for you. So, if you have suggestions that you want to share, or like I know I was talking with a student yesterday and she's sending me some stuff for a tech tip Tuesday, or a quick tip Tuesday. So if there's like stuff that you want to share out or that's working really well for you, let us know, and we're happy to share it out with the rest of the school. So I think this last one, so we can actually just open this up to questions in the chat. do you guys have like ideas that you want to share out now of things that work really well for you? I'm actually I think I'm gonna stop the recording so that way you guys can unmute if you want, and then open up the chat box so that way you guys can put chat up there for all of us and we can kind of answer questions. Is everyone okay with that? Counselors?
We're good.
Oh, yes. I thought you were asking everyone else, but yes.
Okay.
I got a yes in the chat as well, so that sounds good.
Awesome. All right. Well, so for those of you that joined us for the recording, if there are some really good questions that, get asked here after the recording stops, we'll post those alongside in the Google Classroom so we get access to that information as well. But we look forward to you joining us next time at our next seminar. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here.